Today on the show, who will get the final rose?
Welcome to Lore Party, the podcast that explores the stories, characters, and universes of our favorite video games. I'm Anna.
And I'm Marnie.
And today on the episode, we have a very special guest, Petrana Radulovic. Hello, Petrana.
Hi.
Petrana is a writer and a reporter at Polygon, where she covers all things pop culture and fandom. She is also the co-host of the impeccably named podcast, High School Musical, the series, the podcast. Please check it out. And we are so excited to have you on today to talk about all of our true loves, the absolute babes of Fodlan. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited. I love talking about Fire Emblem, and especially the romancing aspect of it. I mean, there's like a war strategy game in there too, but you know,
Yeah, but
priorities.
yeah, who cares about that part?
Exactly. I mean, to be fair, the romancing is so much more complex.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can play chess all day,
Right.
but how I work up to S level, far more important.
Yes.
Petrana, you actually wrote an article for Polygon that I think is honestly in part what inspired maybe this entire podcast series that we've been doing, and certainly this episode, in which you ranked all of the characters, all the romanceable characters in Fire Emblem, along with some of your Polygon coworkers, and we have some nits to pick about this. We'd like to discuss for just a moment.
Yeah.
I would like to do a disclaimer in that when we did this article, we were all like very, very fresh into our playthroughs. Like, I think very few of us had actually gotten to the time skip. So there's a lot that I would change.
The time skip is a big
Yes.
difference in the characters, I will say.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, like, Lorenz being number 5
That
is...
was not my idea.
Yeah. It's criminal. It's criminal.
Awful. Also, I'd like to note, and we will get into this as we start talking about all of our eligible bachelors and bachelorettes, but I would like to notice that, Petrana, I know you are a pretty big Felix fan.
Right.
And in this article, you hardly give him the time of day.
I know. I'm so sad because I don't know. Like this was like back when, when you start playing off, he's like a little bitch to you.
That's true.
And
Completely accurate.
Yeah, and like not in like a sexy way either. He's just like mean.
Yep.
So
and he's just calling Dimitri a pig all the time, and you're like, I don't know, he's kind of hot.
As someone who loved Dimitri, having that was just like I was like, no, I don't want to deal with you. But then as we will discuss, he is definitely one of my faves now.
Yeah.
But
yes.
This is very early on.
I do believe the way you described it is like, well, he's a little goth, so I have to give him points for that. So I like that from the start, though. You still recognized there was that to him in there. So let's presume that moving forward in this episode, we will be referring to our post-time skip Fire Emblem characters for the sake of, all of them being adults. And how we'll do this today is we will go through each of our houses. We will each be explaining why the character that we have chosen from each house is obviously the best one to be spending the rest of your life in Fodlan with. And then at the end, we will say our overall pick, if we had to have one person from Fodlan, who it will be, and why we obviously have the right answer, and I expect to win. So we will start off with our Blue Lions. Marnie, Petrana, would either of you like to kick us off?
No, the Blue Lions are your babies. I feel like you should start, Anna.
Blue Lions were the first ones I played, and it was honestly hard for me to bother to play anybody else because I was too scared that I would be losing some of my characters. And that brings me to my first pick, which is Sylvain.
Oh, really? Sylvain? Are you gonna go with Sylvain?
Shocking!
Why is he so hot?
He's so hot! I don't know! And he's an ass. Yes, but I don't know. Is he?
Self-aware. I think that's where so much of his charm comes from.
Yes.
Is that he knows exactly who he is and what he wants.
Exactly. Okay, we need to recognize also that it comes from a place of self-defense, right? Like his entire thing is that he's worried that women are just going to be after him for, like, you know, crest babies. And while I would not mind having a crest baby with Sylvain, the point is that this is his defense mechanism. You know, if I don't get too attached to anyone and I'm just a player, then, like, I won't get my heart broken by, like, actually falling for somebody and then finding out they're just trying to be with me for that. I also think that one of the best parts about Sylvain is when you spend the rest of your life with him, he's also spending the rest of his time trying to fight against this privilege that has caused such a rift in his family between him and his brother, and being able to recognize that the problem with crests, though he's benefited from it in his life, shouldn't continue. So when you think about, like, what's going on for the rest of your life with Sylvain, he's just out here, like, being woke and trying to stop people from doing, like, the crest thing still. And then in most of the storylines, you do end up having babies, some of them with crests, some of them not. And each one, the description very specifically says he's a wonderful father. And I feel like it's Father's Day today that we happen to be recording.
Happy Father's Day, Sylvain.
Happy Father's Day, Sylvain.
I will say the only thing other than that, my one qualm with picking Sylvain is that if I'm with Sylvain, he can't be with Felix.
Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty big downside. They are the power couple of Fire Emblem.
They're so cute, and I do feel bad, but I'm sorry, I'm selfish, and I'm taking him for myself, and that's that.
I think that's okay. I forgive you. So I doubt this is going to surprise Anna, but my pick is Dimitri. Maybe it's my savior complex, but I can and will fix him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get him through these rough times. But I think, like, going back to how we were talking with Sylvain is honest with himself, I also feel like Dimitri is in touch with his emotions. Not for the entirety of the game, obviously. Like, when he's a teenager, he's, like, trying to be all tough, seems like he has it all together, even though literally his family, he has no family. They all died, right?
Correct.
Then, when you're not in the picture for those 5 years, things go south. Again, it's me. I'm fixing things. So yeah, he has, like, you know, a possible psychotic break. He doesn't talk for a while. He just goes, and then he eventually comes around, though, and talks to Byleth about how he's feeling. And he's, like, open with Byleth, or with me. And I dig that. I feel like that's good. I can't help fix him unless he's open.
Open communication is key in a strong relationship.
Yeah. And we know that he cares because there's a whole storyline with Edelgard, the whole dagger storyline, and then he attempts to reconcile with her, and, you know, he cares about Edelgard. And then there's a storyline with Dedue. Like, he saved and befriended Dedue despite the whole tragedy of Dusker situation. Granted, he knows that it wasn't the Duskerians, the men of Dusker, whatever. But, like, everyone else thinks he does. So, like, he doesn't care what other people think. He's just like, this is my friend, and, like, you guys are going to deal with it. And then he's royalty, so you know your future is secure. Just saying. I wouldn't mind being queen of Fargus.
Even if it's named Fargus.
Yeah.
I think it's the most unfortunately named of the three kingdoms.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
It is my favorite, but also... So I guess, so with me specifically, Blue Lions is my favorite, and no, I have not played another route yet. Because of that, yeah, I know I'm bad.
No, I love it. I love it.
My friend, my podcast co-host gives me shit for not playing another round, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, I can't let Dimitri die. But anyway, so I had the epiphany the other day. This will lead up to my point that I did a fictional character PowerPoint party with some friends, and I realized my two types of fictional characters are Sylvain, which is the flirty piece of shit, and then Dimitri, who's like the sad piece of shit. So
I'm
really,
sad piece of shit all the way.
Yeah, and so there's sad, there's flirty, and then I do want to give a little shout out to Felix for being the rare third flavor, which is the angry piece of shit. But
yes, that's mine. That's me.
Right. So I love
tag yourself.
Yeah, I said I think to a friend that I think Blue Lions has the best boys in my opinion. So I love them both for all the reasons that you all have said. I will also say that Felix is great because he's so no talk me, I'm angry. But the great thing about Felix is that his support conversations with like the younger girls are all very sweet, and he's just like a nice guy under that like.
Well, wait. So, Petrana, do you have a pick? Were you just trying to get away with not actually picking one?
I'm torn between Dimitri and Sylvain. That's my problem. But I think
okay.
What if I just picked Felix just to be contrarian?
That's fine.
I like it.
I'll
pick
pick Felix. I'll pick Felix.
Okay. Shall we go on?
Yeah.
I know that all of us could probably spend all day with our lovely lions. But,
No, I want to talk about the Black Eagles. I think we should go there.
So this is actually what I'm playing through right now. I begrudgingly moved on from the lions. I will say, if you don't mind me starting, my pick for the Black Eagles is our queen, Petra. Yes. Not our queen, Edelgard. Our true queen, Petra. So, first of all, she's a literal queen. And, like, as you noted with Dimitri, like, your future is secure. Why not, like, rule a kingdom? So even in the like post-game timeline, if she doesn't end up with somebody, she still brings peace between Fodlan and Brigid. She, it cares for all of her people for all the time after. It's all thanks to her. So like, who wouldn't want to spend forever with such a lovely person who cares about her people so much?
She is a sweetie.
She's such a sweetie, and she also is a fucking badass.
Yeah.
I don't know about for y'all, but in my playthrough, she's super OP. I don't know if it's just because I favor her and make her super OP, but she is like my frontline person. She's so strong. She wipes the board every freaking time. But also, I think that that's very much part of her storyline to like always be training, always be proving herself to the people of Fodlan that like people from Brigid just as good and she is just as capable, and she is not just as capable, she is clearly stronger than most of the Black Eagles, at least in my experience. However, something that I have learned is that the Byleth storyline specifically for Petra, not as good. I don't like them as much as literally any of the other ones. So for some reason, in the Byleth storylines, if they end up together, she doesn't inherit the throne. She doesn't go back to Brigid.
What?
And quite literally, quote, follows Byleth to just like do Fodlan shit that Byleth wants to do, and then they like settle in Fodlan and have a family. And I don't think this makes any sense. Her entire thing is like being for her people and all the sacrifices that her family's had to make. And so even in the ending where she ends up with Claude, they both go back to their respective places and rule their people. And so though it pains me to think that me choosing Petra could kind of be the Byleth storyline, I'm going to pretend that I truly am in the Fire Emblem universe and she's marrying me and not Byleth, and I would never ask Petra to leave her people. And so that's the only way I can be okay with it.
Brigid sounds like a lovely place. Like,
exactly.
You just go to Brigid, chill on the beach. Like,
exactly.
Brigid clearly has more of its shit together than Fodlan, so you can leave Byleth to deal with that.
Exactly. All right, we're going to keep this conversation going, but first, a quick break.
So, my first official run through was the Black Eagles, and so this was my first love, and it is arguably the hottest character in Fire Emblem, and that's Edelgard. Like, come on, guys. So first of all, here's my first point. We know from the tea parties that she's the only house leader that likes cats. And if you don't like cats, that's going to be a deal breaker for me. We know she doesn't take no shit from no men. She literally displaced her father and was like, look, Dad, you're not doing a good job. Happy Father's Day, but I'm in charge now. And like, maybe she's atheist? I don't know. She's starting a war with the church. I'm not really sure.
That is cool. That is cool.
Badass, yes.
Yeah.
She's a free thinker. Again, trauma. I can fix her. And I'd walk with her 100%. We'll rule the world together.
Amazing. So I'm going to preface my pick with, while I said Blue Lions had the best boys, I do think Black Eagles has the best girls, as evidenced by this. My pick is Dorothea, and I think it's for a similar reason as Sylvain, in that she knows what she wants, and she's very self-aware that she wants a rich man who can provide for her. And I love that.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, who doesn't, really? And she knows that her looks and her talent have gotten her this far, and she knows that there's gonna be a day where it doesn't work. So she wants to get that bag, wants to be secure. I like her endings a lot. I do. The one she has with Edelgard is also like very sweet, and I love their dynamic. I like her with Sylvain a lot because I like like I read here, I am a sucker for two players caught in each other's game. I think that's great. I think
oh my God.
They know how to play each other, and they know what they are, and they know what each other are. And they see right through each other, and then they fall in love because that's just how it goes.
You are correct. Those are the best women. But let's move on to the Golden Deer. The only house I have not played so far. I have been able to interact with them a little bit, obviously through the other houses, and I wasn't totally sure because I feel like the obvious pick for Golden Deer typically would be Claude, and I get it, but I think that I have to pick Hilda because I've done a lot of research on her, and the more I read about her, the more I think she's my soulmate. First of all, she's super just like cute and like punk, and love that. Her like whole thing is like, I'm lazy but also fancy and indulgent, which like, what more could you want? Like, incredible. And then also, it's like, oh, she's like lazy and kind of small and whatever, who cares? And then she has this fucking axe, and she's like, everyone fuck off. I'm small, but I am going to kick your ass, which I like super relate to because I too am small, though I don't kick anyone's ass, but you know, like I kind of get it. Post-war Hilda is like, screw all of this. I've done enough for this place. I am going to go do what I want and just like chill and become an artisan. And she just like crafts cool stuff and opens an entire academy for artisans, which is amazing. This is absolutely what I would do. Garrick Mach is a terrifying place. I don't know why all these people continue to try and make the world a better place after this. I would be like, I am done. I've like done all I can for you. I'm going to go become an artisan and sell my goods.
Yeah. You know what else I love about Hilda? Like in a bunch of her support conversations with men, it's just her tricking them into doing chores for her.
Beautiful.
Like, I love that energy. I want that for me.
Yeah, my love language is definitely acts of service. So I love that she's just like getting people to do shit for her all the time.
Wait, but then she wouldn't be doing services for you know?
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. You make a good point.
Maybe you guys are too similar.
Oh, shit. Okay, you're right.
Well, I'm going to go with a stereotypical choice and finish out the round of me marrying all the house leaders because I'm just that important. And I'm going to pick Claude. Obviously, he's a universal heartthrob. But he is flirty, and I don't know, I may get jealous. Like, I feel like Sylvain is flirty, right? But then he seems to be so committed to you in the end, whereas Claude, I'm just not as convinced. We know he's woke, like he's trying to break down the walls that divide Fodlan and Elmira, and no matter if you're playing as male, female, non-binary, gender fluid Byleth, he dances with you.
True.
And he's woke. He's royalty in Elmira and noble in Fodlan, so you know your future is double secured. So Dimitri, you're secured. Edelgard, you're secured. Claude, you're double secured. But I still have a bone to pick with him. Like we talked about in the last episode, I don't understand why he just left me in Fodlan. Like, he just abandoned me. He didn't even invite me. Like, I could have gone to Elmira with him. I don't have to be in Fodlan, but he's like, peace. And like, what is he doing that time that he's in Elmira and I'm in Fodlan? Is our relationship open? Like, that, we could talk about it, but it's just unclear to me. But like, I guess on the other hand, we know that he's independent. Like, he's not going to expect me to take care of him or be
the other two house leaders.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is very off-brand.
I know.
You don't need to fix it.
Yeah, like, his biggest trauma is he's like, people used to make fun of me when I was little because I have a Fodlan name or something like that. Like, I'm sorry. That's just not high enough trauma for me. I'm going to need you to be sadder. Okay, the last thing I'll say is he's going to always keep things interesting with his little schemes. I feel like on our anniversaries, he would plan like a cute scavenger hunt.
Aww.
And like, that would be
cute.
fun. But honesty is going to be a big thing for me. So maybe we're going to have to go to therapy because if he is keeping secrets from me, I don't think I would like that.
But hey, here's something for you to fix.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you need outside help when there's secrets.
You can't be the therapist, yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Maybe Claude and I are too similar.
Oh, maybe this is the problem with the golden deer.
Yeah.
Petrana, do you have the same problem
No,
with
I
yours?
don't. But I think I'm actually going to bat for Raphael here.
Whoa.
I know. I just think he's sweet. He's dumb. He likes to eat. He likes to work out. And like, you know, out of like everyone who's like super traumatic that we've all discussed, I think Raphael, like, you know, he would treat you right. He would be the person doing the acts of service on me. Like, I would lounge around and he would bring me food. He'd like massage my feet and everything. And like, I think out of everyone, he's just like, he would be probably the best partner. Like,
Yeah, he is very sweet.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
a himbo.
He is a himbo, and he's also, I think, hold on, let me get his height, because I think he's definitely
You
in the
don't
upper-
know offhand?
I don't know the deer. I know all the lions. He's 6'3", so
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah,
Pretty tall.
right.
You might need
I
to learn
mean-
how to sew buttons back on shirts, though, because he's always losing those buttons on his
He's
shirts.
so buff.
Yeah.
That's a plus.
That's true. It's worth all the missing buttons. I
Mhm.
mean, come on. The eye candy alone. Okay, we've got incredible picks here. Everyone's so hot, turns out.
Yeah.
But there can only be one. And Marnie, do you want to pick? Do you want to give your first pick, or I can give it?
Who do you think it is, Anna?
Oh, this is a good question.
I'm curious if you know.
I think. Well, so I'm torn between two.
Yeah.
I think it's either Dimitri or Edelgard. The pro for Edelgard is that she was your first love,
Mhm.
and I think that that's beautiful. It could hold a special connection, but I think Dimitri.
You're
final
spot
answer.
on. It is between Dimitri and Edelgard, and in the end, I'm gonna go with
Dimitri?
Dimitri.
Yeah.
He has more problems.
Yeah. Also, I just want to be wrapped in his arms. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but I do.
I was gonna say he's hotter.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Well, whoa. Okay.
Oh, okay. No, it's
Edelgard is pretty hot. I mean,
He does have that nice fur coat thing, so he is like actually
Yeah.
temperature wise physically hotter.
How cold is it in Fargus? Why
it's pretty cold. It's cold.
Okay.
It's a cold place. It's the it's north. I think a few of them complain about how cold it is.
Yeah, Sylvain, which is my pick. I will keep Sylvain warm. Don't worry about it. I could have asked, wow, do you guys know who my pick is? But like, let's be real. It's
Yeah.
like,
We knew.
I might as well have it written in Sharpie on my forehead. He has a heart of gold, even though, you know, he tries to hide it on this facade of being a player, and he's hot.
Yeah.
And he's my pick, and I'm gonna spend the rest of my days stopping people from thinking that crests are important. And so, you know, we're gonna do some good in the world and have a beautiful family. Petrana.
Okay. So
I'm sorry. You wrote "Don't make me choose."
I don't want.
But I'm going to make
Okay.
you.
You know what? I'm going to. I think this is just. I started this being like, maybe I'll just pick Sylvain, but then I didn't even pick him in the Blue Lions because I picked Felix. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna do Dorothea because I love her and I worship her. And then I'm like, you know what? As I talked about Zenith, I just think that it's a good storyline. I don't even know if I personally would want to go for him, but I just do. I'm very into that storyline of Violet, like, connecting with Flame and then, like, slowly getting closer to Zenith. And I just think it's a fulfilling story. And yeah, so I'm gonna just completely abandon all notions of what I thought I would pick and go with that.
He's daddy. Happy
He is
Father's Day.
Perfect way to end this.
Happy Father's Day. Well, Petrana, thank you so much for joining us today. Where can folks find you online after this?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Twitter at pet_Rana because the person who has Petrana hasn't tweeted in years, but that's fine. I won't die on that hill. Except I will. And you can also, if you are a fan of High School Musical, the series, a Disney Plus original, you can follow my podcast, High School Musical, the series, the podcast at HSMTS Podcast on Twitter.
Incredible. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
This is so fun.
Well, that about wraps it up. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please take a second to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. It really helps us grow the show. Be sure to connect with us on Instagram and Twitter at lore_party, and check out our YouTube page for bonus videos and highlights. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.